Ladies and gentlemen, we continue chapter 5.1 pension scheme for public sector workers. Okay, types of benefits. This slide will explain about the various types of benefits available for public sector workers, especially on the pension scheme. But before that, it is very important to understand that benefits under pension system will also influenced by several factors. The first one about the tenure. It means that how long you serve the government, because for example, if you like to get the full pension, then you have to work more than 30 years or the minimum 30 years. Less than that, then will be another calculation. It is also important for you to maintain a clean record in terms of disciplinary record, yeah, so that you can avoid any unnecessary issues when you retire. It is also important to see on the retirement age, because the age that you can retire and then the age that you can entitle to get the full benefits are also take into consideration about the retirement age. So this, in summary, we can see that about five benefits available for the public sector workers. The first one is about monthly service pension, and followed by lump sum gratuity, cash award in lieu of leave, disability pension, and also pension of dependents. The following slide will explain in details about these various benefits for public sector workers. Now, the coverage for the public sector workers himself or herself. Okay, the first one is service pension, monthly payment. So this service pension is actually is the amounts of benefit that you will receive when you retire. So it comes in terms of the monthly payment or monthly pension. So the calculation for this one is about 1/600 ringgit times the number of months of reckonable service and times the corresponding last withdrawn salary. Subject to maximum pension of 3/5. So even though the calculation is like the first point, but the government provide the maximum pension that what we call qualified for the service. Yeah, last drawn withdrawal after the service of 30 years or 360 months of reckonable service. Yeah, but the maximum is 60% of the last withdrawn salary, and you will get this pension until you die. For example, this one, yeah, if you work with the government for 20 years, not reach to 30 years, and your last withdrawn salary is 5,000 ringgit, then you will get your monthly pension for more or less about 2,000 ringgit. However, if you work with government more than 30 years or the minimum 30 years, and your last withdrawn salary is about 5,000 ringgit, then you can get your monthly payment pension for about 3,000 ringgit per month until you die. Next is about service gratuity. Instead of you are going to get a service pension of the monthly payment, then you can also get service gratuity. And this service gratuity usually you will get after once you retire. But the process of getting this, sometimes it requires quite some time, but it depends on how you prepare the documents and everything. It also sometimes involve in terms of because they will look into your record. For example, like, is there any outstanding tax that you haven't paid before, and etc. So for this service gratuity is actually the calculation is 7.5% times number of months of reckonable service times corresponding last drawn salary. Yeah, so this is interesting, yeah, because when you get this gratuity, it's a huge amount of money that you will receive. For example, like if you retire, if your last withdrawal salary is about 5,000 ringgit, then the service gratuity that you will receive is with the amount of 135,000 ringgit. Apart from service gratuity and service pension, you also entitled to get cash award in lieu of leave when applicable. Yeah, when applicable here means that if you have certain amount of leave that you haven't taken during your service, because for example, like in service in public sector, every month you can get what we call entitlement for leave, for example like 35 days per year, or 25 days per year, or 30 days per year. So if you haven't take up this leave for for certain amount of days, for example, then you can claim for this cash award in lieu of leave when applicable lump sum payment. This is also lump sum payment. Yeah, so what does it mean by this cash award in lieu of leave? Leave not utilized due to exigency of the service, yeah, and is accumulated in accordance to the term of accumulation under pension regulation and the above circular. It is very important for everyone to understand that the leave is actually the right for the employer. Is subject to the employer whether you want to approve your application for leave or not. Yes, you are entitled to get certain amount of leave per annum, for example like 30 days. Yeah, but then to entitle you to get the leave, to approve you to get the leave that you have applied, is actually subject to the urgency or exigency with the what we call jurisdiction of the employee of your head of department. Yeah, so the calculation is about 1/30 times basic salary plus fixed allowances and times number of leave accumulated up to 120 days. Even though you still have balance of your leave, okay, and when upon your retirement is about 150 days, but the maximum number of leave that to be calculated in this cash award in lieu of leave is only maximum of 120 days. So the example is about, yeah, if your last withdraw salary is 4,000 ringgit and you have 120 days leave upon retirement balance, yeah, then you can get about more or less about 16,000 ringgit. Next is about disability pension. I think I have mentioned before that pension also provided for not only upon retirement when you reach retirement age, but also to be given for those who are forced to retire in the case of disability. So disability pension is an additional benefit is given to a government officer who is required to retire because of health reason, which is due to the first one in the course of performing his official duty. Yeah, in the case of accident, yeah, or health reason while you are performing your official duty. For example, like you involved in accident at the workplace, and then you're contracting to a disease, you get the disease, yeah, which he is exposed to the nature of his duty. For example, exposed to the chemical, exposed of the pollution, for example. And then the third point is sustaining an injury due to a travel accident while you're commuting from your home to the workplace and from your workplace to your home, or while you are attending what we call outstation, yeah, or attending a meeting or something like that. Yeah, this is the disability pension, and the amount that you receive is like what are stipulated or drawn in the table. Yeah, so a degree of it depends on the degree of impairment, like slight impairment, impaired, major impaired, and also total destroyed, and those rate paid is how you calculate it. Yeah, it is also important to understand that the pension benefits also available for the dependents. Dependents here means your next of kin, saudara terhampir, or those who are depending on you. Okay, all right, so derivative benefits, meaning to say that the pension can also be entitled for your next of kin, for your dependents. Yeah? Pension due to the death of officer. So in the case of death of the public service or public sector workers or officer, the pension scheme in Malaysia also extend to the pension benefits to the dependents of pensionable officer who dies whether still in government service or after retirement. Yeah, so the benefits called as derivative gratuity and derivative pension. So we have derivative pension. So who will get or entitled to get this derivative pension? The widow, widower, and child. The mother of the deceased, okay, if the and also the father, okay, and then it goes to the representative, and also can go to the paid to his mother or father or representative or rightful by law. Yeah, and what and how much that the the dependents will receive. Yeah, for example, the calculation is almost more or less like the same. Yeah, in of this of the the monthly pension. Okay. And derivative gratuity is will be given in terms of the gratuity which I mentioned before. Yeah, to the widower, to the child. Yeah, and then also to the dependent's mother or father. Yeah, and how much that you will receive. This is how you calculate this. Yeah, 7.5% times the number of money last withdrawn salary. Yeah, but then the what we call allocation is slightly different, because the widower will get a 9/10, while mother and father only 1/10. Okay, if there's no widower or child. Okay, less than usually received by the pensioners. All right, so this one is just to explain about another important things under public pension scheme. It is very important for the pensioners to have their pension card, because this pension card is issued under section 23. Yeah, it's just to state that to prove that you are the pensioners, and by carrying this pension card, then usually the pensioner will able to enjoy the benefits available under pension scheme. For example, like hospitalization, medical benefits, and sometimes to the other sectors like transportation, you can also get the what we call discount or something like that. So in the same time, effort taken by the post service department, yeah, they come up with this initiative. For example, like they establish the apps like My Pesara. So those who downloaded these apps, you can get the information. You can monitor what are the available benefits, the current changes, or what are the new things, okay, introduced by the government for the pensioners. And then from this My Pesara, they also come up with several programs on how you manage the money, because the pensioners usually the biggest challenge is how to manage your money, how to manage your financial in terms of the survival. Yeah, so they give you some training courses or something like that on how you can continue your life, or how to you can still become productive when you retire. All right, we take a break for chapter 5 part 2.